Good evening and welcome to Today Tonight. We begin with the secret raids that lift the lid on the seedy and dangerous side of the food industry. Each year, 1 in 4 Australians suffer from food poisoning. It's a national health problem that costs the country over $1.2 billion annually. Well, tonight in this special report by Tim Noonan, you're about to see why it's so bad and what the authorities are doing to try and stop it.
I'd never been so sick in my life.
People can die from these infections.
They start these clandestine fly-by-night operations. You're operating illegally, and 24, 48 hours later, they're actually selling the product.
It is criminal. Of course it's criminal.
What we're hearing about is just the tip of the iceberg.
They're gambling with the health of all of us. So the New South Wales Food Authority is closing this business. We will catch them.
It's the dirty secret that no one wants to know.
There is deaths, there's people with lifelong illnesses. That's what we're trying to stop.
Every year, 5.4 million of us get sick from food poisoning. Every year, 100 lives are lost. It's highly likely you've had it before, but it's even more likely you'll get it again. And now you're about to see why.
A deer carcass was found hanging over a toilet.
You don't expect it in Australia.
We've seen chickens being dried on roofs.
It's bloody horrific.
Lives are at stake.
Supermarkets, grocers, restaurants and butchers, cutting corners, cutting costs, but costing lives.
We're really doing everything we can to find these guys and to take action straight away.
In Sydney's southwest, health inspectors have arrived at this house unannounced.
A complaint was received that these individuals were slaughtering chickens in their homes. The police had to force their way into that house.
They believe that hidden behind these closed doors is an illegal operation that's putting an entire community at risk.
This was a suburban abattoir.
We might ask you to show us outside to where you unhouse your chickens and your ducks.
We saw the scale of the operation out the back. It was a large operation. It was found they were processing between 50 to 100 chickens per day. With that amount of birds being killed, she could have been supplying a whole community.
We're going to need the RSPCA here too.
It's not just the threat to human health, but the cruel animal abuse and the primitive killing conditions that's left these officers in shock.
Tell me, when was the last time you used this? What's this used for?
I don't know, because when I come in here, I move in here.
This is disgusting.
She had chickens ready for sale. Chickens are waiting to be slaughtered.
You kill them like that? Mm-hmm. With this knife?
There were chicken carcasses in buckets.
What are you going to do with this chicken?
With a salad.
With a salad?
They were stored there for long periods of time, and then they were slaughtered in the back garden shed.
How do you cool them down?
How do you make them cold?
How do you make them cold before you sell them?
Cold?
It's a hothouse of health risks and a fertile breeding ground for dangerous bacteria.
If it's outside of temperature controls and things like that, you're getting a bacterial growth at all times.
Bacteria with a deadly sting.
Listeria, E. coli, Salmonella.
There's germs on these carcasses, and if we don't refrigerate them, instead of having 100 bugs there, you'll have 100 million bugs within a few hours.
Professor Peter Collignon is one of Australia's most respected disease experts.
You can have infections in your spine from Salmonella. You can have liver abscesses. So you can have very serious infections with these bugs. We would be lucky to diagnose 1 case for every 1,000 or even 10,000 that probably occur.
Last year we investigated 500 food-borne illness outbreaks.
The parents of a Sydney girl left with brain damage from salmonella poisoning.
Food poisoning. 319 people fell ill in
256 people were treated by emergency staff.
Patients were rushed to more than 6 hospitals across the metropolitan
136 were admitted to hospital.
Contracted a potentially deadly bacteria from chicken wraps served on Virgin Blue flights.
It's beyond your comprehension that you could get that sick from a piece of chicken.
Richard Basile ate just 1.5 chicken wraps on a Virgin Blue flight from Brisbane to Bali.
Within 3 days it had set in and I was down and out.
Listeria poisoning was the last thing he expected.
I can just tell you it's the most debilitating thing I've ever had in my life.
Bedridden for 3 days with severe stomach aches, Richard was just one of 36 people in 6 states that were left suffering.
It showed up that the factory that Virgin were getting their chicken wraps from had a major problem.
I worked there for 14 months before I quit there in disgust.
Paul Sheridan was employed by the company that supplied the contaminated chicken to Virgin Blue.
Sometimes there'd be rat faeces on the top of a tub of chicken, turning the chicken green around it. It just went straight into the oven after that and then went straight to Virgin Blue. I told people for a long time after I quit, you watch, someone on a Virgin Blue flight will get very, very sick. It's only a matter of time, and sure enough last year, that's what happened.
I mean, you may be lucky and the fuse never got lit, but a lot of them the fuse does get lit, and if people then eat that food afterwards, because even if it's then put in the refrigerator, the bug's there.
I just couldn't believe how sick I was.
When you get these bacteria through your mouth through foods, they go through your stomach and go to your intestine.
You have no idea of where this is going to go.
If it goes further than that and gets through your bowel wall, then you've got a real invasion, and that's where it becomes really life-threatening.
The tipping point for me when I had to leave was when half a tonne of chicken fell onto the floor he'd been working on for more than 12 hours, and when I wanted to throw it out, I was just immediately threatened with the sack unless I picked every single scrap up, put it back in the machine to be cooked.
I think if any child had got what I had, maybe they wouldn't be a child and maybe they'd be on the wrong side of the grass today.
And that was when I decided that's enough for me. I don't want to be responsible for anything serious that happens as the standards drop even further.
Often rules get broken, and often we don't know because it's done around the back where we can't see what's happening.
Hello! A large amount of odour and very loud noises were coming out of that premises. We believe they're in there at the moment. We're just trying to gain access.
Inspectors Mark and Scott have just arrived to investigate another clandestine meat factory after a tip-off from local council.
From the outside, yeah, all the windows were boarded up. You couldn't actually see what was going on there at all. Mark Mackey and Scott Henry from the New South Wales Food Authority. You can turn a corner, open a door, and all of a sudden you found an operation that no one knew was there. Do you have a licence with the New South Wales Food Authority?
Yeah, I don't have the license.
Okay, you're operating illegally? So
I talking to my lawyer. He tell me no cooking don't have the license.
Okay, I'm sorry, but that's incorrect. Luckily, we caught him before it was sold. It's a highly dangerous practice. This is ready-to-eat meat that's just being processed and stored in just a terrible condition.
It was bound for supermarkets, butchers and delis.
So there's no controls at all. There's just the open doorway there. Every room you went into, you found just critical issues that basically showed us that this food had to be seized. He's actually now. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw that he was using fly spray directly onto the meat. So what did you do then?
Just tell me. Yeah. Hit the flies away. Yeah.
And when I asked him what he was doing, he actually did it again. How do you
No, just here I have the fly.
What'd you do there?
Show me.
How do you normally kill the flies?
In here, I just put it here.
Okay. So you're spraying that directly onto the product.
Do you understand this food is dangerous?
No. I think this is photo is Chinese photo is very nice, not dangerous.
I don't think they think of the ramifications of doing the wrong thing, otherwise they wouldn't do it.
Would you feed this to your family?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah.
You really just get the same excuse over and over again, which is just ignorance.
Expect the health department to come down like a bag of bricks on top of them and close them down or confiscate their stock or whatever's got to be done. And if they do it often enough, you'll put those backyarders out of business.
She was selling those chickens for around $20 with 50 to 100 sales a day.
It appears to be 11 crates.
With the fluctuations, she could probably be earning over $100,000 a year. They were fined $1,400 for each of the abattoir premises they had. That, along with the seizure of the equipment and the seizure of the product, probably resulted in a loss of over $10,000 for those individuals. From today, you can't operate here anymore, okay? Because we can't be sure that the product is safe. Over 4 tonne of product was dumped, and it's estimated that it was about $100,000 worth of product. 99% of people are complying. It's that 1% that we're here to find, clamp down on, and make sure that they either start complying or they get out of the industry.
The end result is what happened to me, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody. Don't care. Not to be wished on anybody.
That's Tim Noonan on patrol with the Food Police, and if you have any doubts about how important their job is, think about this. There were more than 2 million days of work lost because of food poisoning just last year. Now to the supermarkets. They've been full of promises